All right, so get this Cathie Wood, the queen of growth investing. She just went on a stock buying spree, and we're going to break down 3 of her picks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have everybody buzzing.
It's always interesting to see what she's up to. At the head of ARK Invest, she's known for, her bold bets on companies that can just totally disrupt entire industries.
Exactly. She's not afraid to just go all in on innovation, even if it means taking on, some risk. And today we're going to do a deep dive on 3 companies that she's betting on: AMD, TOST, and Shopify.
Interesting, interesting. Each of these companies, they represent such a different sector of the market. We got chips, restaurants, and e-commerce. What's fascinating is that they're all facing, unique challenges, but Cathie, she clearly sees their long-term potential.
Okay, so first up is Advanced Micro Devices, AMD. Now, they're a major player in the chip-making world, which is, super relevant right now with all the hype around AI.
Yeah, and AMD is particularly interesting because they produce that kind of high-performance chip that powers data centers, which are essential for AI applications. But here's the thing. Despite this AI boom, AMD's stock recently hit like a new 52-week low after some kind of mixed quarterly results.
Really? That seems counterintuitive, right? AI is just exploding, AMD's making the chips that make it work, but their stock is down. What gives? What's the deal?
Well, if we look at their financials, their overall revenue is up by a solid 24%, which, on the surface sounds good. But if we dig a little deeper, we see that some segments are not performing as well as others.
So it's not all sunshine and roses.
Not exactly. Their data center segment, which is, the one to watch for AI, actually soared, a 69% revenue increase. But there are concerns about a potential slowdown in growth, which might be making investors a little nervous.
Oh, so it's like this tug of war between this impressive growth in a key area and then the fear that it might not last.
Exactly. And that leads to the big question, is AMD a risky bet or a hidden gem? There are definitely arguments on both sides.
Let's unpack those. What's the bull case for AMD?
Well, the bulls point to the fact that AMD stock is currently trading at a low price-to-earnings ratio, meaning it's relatively cheap compared to its earnings, right? Plus, the potential for growth in the AI market is enormous. So if AMD can ride that wave, their stock could just skyrocket.
That might make sense. But what about the bears? What are their concerns?
The bears are worried about, a potential slowdown in growth, especially in the data center market. They're also concerned about competition from other chip giants like, Intel and NVIDIA, who are also vying for a piece of that AI pie.
So it sounds like AMD's future hinges on their ability to stay ahead in a very competitive market. What are some of the key things to watch for?
That's a great question. Investors, they'll be closely watching AMD's future earnings reports to see if they can maintain that growth momentum, especially in the data center segment. They'll also be looking for signs of how AMD is, differentiating itself from the competitors.
So after hearing all of this, where do you stand on AMD? Risky bet or hidden gem?
Oh, it's tough to say for sure. AMD has a lot of potential, but it's also operating in, such a rapidly changing and fiercely competitive market. I think it's a company that requires, careful monitoring and further research before making an investment decision.
Fair enough. It's definitely one to keep on our radar. Now let's shift your ears and talk about something a little closer to home, literally. Let's dive into TOST, the company that's helping restaurants, navigate the digital world.
TOST. They're an interesting company, providing restaurants with cloud-based platforms for everything from online ordering and point-of-sale systems to managing inventory and staff. And their stock has been on a tear, more than doubling in the past year.
Wow, that's impressive. What's driving that growth?
Well, TOST is really tapping into a major trend, the increasing digitization of the restaurant industry. More and more people are ordering food online, using mobile apps to pay, and expecting a seamless digital experience when they, dine out.
And TOST is right there providing the tools that restaurants need to meet those expectations.
Exactly. Their platform is designed to streamline operations, improve efficiency, and just make life easier for, both restaurant owners and customers. And it seems to be working. They're now serving over 127,000 locations. That's a 28% increase from just a year ago.
These are some serious numbers, but here's a question that often comes up with high-growth companies. Are they actually making any money?
That's a valid point, and it's something that investors were concerned about with TOST in the past. But they've actually been profitable for the past 2 quarters, which is, a major sign of their financial strength and sustainability.
So they've addressed that concern head on. That's good news for investors. But even with profitability, there's always the question of valuation. Is TOST's stock overpriced given its rapid growth?
That's the million-dollar question. TOST is trading at a premium compared to other companies in the restaurant tech space. The question is, can their rapid growth justify that valuation?
I guess we'll get some more insight next week when they release their latest earnings report. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep up the momentum.
Absolutely, we'll be watching those numbers totally. Now, for our final company today, let's talk about a name you're probably familiar with. Shopify. They're the e-commerce platform that's been making a big comeback lately.
Yeah, I remember when Shopify was the darling of the e-commerce world, then things cooled down a bit, but they seem to be back in the game now.
That's right. After a period of slower growth, they just had their strongest quarter in 3 years, with revenue surging by 31%.
That's a major rebound. What's behind that surge?
Well, it seems like Shopify is capitalizing on a few key trends. First, their North American business is still going strong. Second, they're seeing even faster growth internationally, expanding into new markets and reaching new customers. And third, they're making strides offline, helping businesses integrate their online and brick-and-mortar operations.
Although they're not just an e-commerce platform anymore, they're becoming this comprehensive solution for businesses of all sizes.
Exactly. They're helping businesses manage everything from online storefronts to, marketing campaigns to shipping logistics. And that's a powerful value proposition.
No wonder Cathie Wood's a fan.
And it's not just Cathie. Several analysts have raised their price targets for Shopify after that impressive earnings report.
That's a good sign. But I'm curious, what's your take on Shopify's long-term prospects? Do you think they can sustain this momentum?
Well, I think Shopify is well-positioned to benefit from the continued growth of e-commerce, both in the U.S. and globally. They're also doing a good job of expanding their offerings to meet the evolving needs of businesses.
But aren't they facing, stiff competition from giants like Amazon?
Of course, competition is always a factor in this space, but I think Shopify is carving out, a unique niche for itself by focusing on empowering those independent businesses and providing them with the tools they need to thrive.
So they're not trying to be Amazon. They're trying to be the anti-Amazon in a way.
That's a good way to put it. They're appealing to businesses that want to maintain their own brand identity and control their own destiny rather than getting lost in a giant marketplace.
That's a smart strategy. So it seems like Shopify is firing on all cylinders right now, but what are some potential risks or challenges they might face down the road?
That's a good question. One challenge they might face is maintaining their growth rate as they get bigger. It's always harder to grow at a rapid pace when you're already a large company.
And they'll need to stay ahead of the curve in terms of technology and innovation. The e-commerce landscape is constantly evolving, so they can't afford to stand still.
Absolutely. They'll need to constantly adapt and innovate to stay ahead of that competition.
Well, it looks like we have a lot to unpack here with Shopify. Their comeback story is definitely one to watch. Okay, so we've taken a close look at these three companies, AMD, Toast, and Shopify, all picks from Cathie Wood, the growth investor extraordinaire. What's striking is that they're all at different points in their journey, facing these different challenges, but Cathie seems to see something special in each of them.
Yeah, what's fascinating about her strategy is that focus on disruptive innovation. She's not looking for companies that are, simply doing well right now. She's looking for companies that have the potential to reshape their industries, create entirely new markets.
That's what makes her such a compelling investor to follow, right? She's not afraid to take risks and bet on companies that others might overlook. It's like she's playing a different game altogether with a much longer time horizon.
Exactly. She's looking 5, 10, even 20 years down the road, envisioning a future where these companies have fundamentally changed the way we live and work.
It takes a lot of vision and conviction to invest like that. I mean, look at AMD. This stock has taken a hit. There are concerns about, competition and slowing growth, but she's still buying in. What do you think she sees in them that others might be missing?
I think she sees a company that's at the forefront of, a technological revolution. AMD is not just making chips. They're enabling the future of AI. As AI becomes, more sophisticated and pervasive, the demand for their high-performance chips, that'll only increase.
So she's betting on that underlying technology trend rather than just the short-term performance of the stock.
Precisely. She understands that investing in disruptive innovation is about identifying those long-term trends that will shape the future. It's not about trying to time the market or chase those quick profits.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, what about Toast? They seem to be riding the wave of digital transformation in the restaurant industry.
Toast is a great example of a company that's capitalizing on a massive shift in consumer behavior. The way people interact with restaurants is changing dramatically, and Toast is providing the tools and infrastructure to facilitate that change.
It's not just about online ordering anymore. It's about creating a seamless digital experience for diners, like from the moment they walk in the door to the moment they pay their bill.
Yeah, and Toast is going beyond that, helping restaurants manage their entire operations more efficiently, from inventory control to staff scheduling.
So they're becoming a one-stop shop for restaurants in the digital age.
Exactly. They're building an ecosystem that helps restaurants, thrive in a world that's increasingly reliant on technology.
And then there's Shopify, the e-commerce powerhouse that's making a comeback. What do you think is driving their resurgence?
I think Shopify is benefiting from the continued growth of e-commerce, but they're also strategically positioning themselves as the platform for, independent businesses.
That anti-Amazon approach. Instead of trying to compete head-on with the giants, they're empowering smaller businesses to create their own, unique online presence.
Right. They're providing the tools and resources for those small and medium-sized businesses to, compete in that digital marketplace without having to sacrifice their brand identity or customer relationships.
It's almost like they're democratizing e-commerce, making it accessible to everyone.
And I think that's a powerful message that resonates with a lot of businesses. People want to support independent businesses, and Shopify is making it easier than ever to do so online.
So looking at these three companies together, what does it tell us about Cathie Wood's investment philosophy?
I think it shows that she's not afraid to bet on companies that are, challenging the status quo, even if it means taking on some risk. She's looking for businesses that are creating the future, not just reacting to it.
And she's willing to be patient, understanding that these disruptions take time to play out.
Yeah, she's not looking for those quick wins. She's building a portfolio for the long haul.
That's a valuable lesson for any investor, regardless of their risk tolerance. It's about thinking beyond, the next quarter's earnings report and considering the long-term trends that'll shape the future. But let's be real, Cathie Wood's approach is not for everyone. It's high-risk, high-reward investing.
Absolutely. Her funds are designed for investors that have a long time horizon and can, stomach that volatility that comes with investing in disruptive innovation.
But even if you're not ready to jump into Cathie Wood's funds, there's a lot we can learn from her approach.
Definitely. It's about being aware of the forces that are shaping the world and identifying the companies that are best positioned to capitalize on those forces.
It's about thinking critically, doing your research, and not being afraid to look beyond the obvious.
And ultimately, it's about being an informed and engaged investor, actively participating in the evolution of our world.
I love that. Investing isn't just about making money. It's about being part of something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. It's about recognizing the potential of these companies to change the way we live, work, and interact with each other.
And it's about being part of a story that's still being written.
I think that's a great way to put it. Now, thinking about these three companies and the trends they represent, AMD with their focus on AI, TOST with their digital restaurant solutions, and Shopify empowering independent businesses online, which one resonates most with you?
That's a great question, and it's one we want our listeners to ponder as well. Which of these companies do you think has the most potential to change the game in the long run, and why? What gets you excited about the future? It's fascinating to think about, the ripple effects that these companies could have on our lives.
Oh, absolutely. Just imagine a world where AI is just seamlessly integrated into everything we do, thanks to those AMD chips, and where dining out is just this truly personalized and frictionless experience powered by TOST.
Right.
And where those independent businesses can just thrive online with the support of Shopify's platform.
It's like we're on the cusp of a whole new era of, innovation and destruction.
That's what makes investing in these companies so exciting. It's not just about, financial returns. It's about being a part of a movement that's shaping the future.
It's easy to get caught up in the, day-to-day fluctuations of the stock market, but sometimes it's important to step back and think about that bigger picture.
Yeah.
What kind of world are we creating with our investments?
That's such a powerful question to ask yourself as an investor. Are you supporting companies that, align with your values and your vision for the future?
Are you willing to take on some risk to invest in companies that could truly make a difference?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, investing isn't just about making money, It's about making a positive impact on the world.
That's what I find so inspiring about Cathie Wood's approach. She's not just picking stocks, she's identifying trends and betting on the future where technology empowers individuals and businesses to just achieve their full potential.
She's not afraid to, challenge conventional wisdom and invest in companies that are pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And that's a lesson we can all take to heart, whether, we're seasoned investors or just starting out. Don't be afraid to think differently, to question assumptions, and to invest in companies that you believe in.
Yeah, even if you don't pick, the next Amazon or Tesla, you'll gain a deeper understanding of the forces that are shaping our world.
Right.
And the incredible potential of human ingenuity.
So as you continue to explore Cathie Wood's picks and her investment philosophy, remember to keep asking those big questions.
Yeah.
Which companies excite you? Which trends do you think will shape the future?
And most importantly, how can you use, your investments to make a positive impact on the world?
That's a fantastic note to end on. We've covered a lot of ground today exploring the world of Cathie Wood and her latest stock picks. But Really, it's been a journey into the heart of disruptive innovation and what it means to invest in the future.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure diving into this with you.
Likewise. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it's, sparked your curiosity and given you some food for thought. Remember, the future is ours to create, and our investment decisions, they play a role in shaping that future.
So invest wisely, invest thoughtfully, and invest in a future that you believe in.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a topic that matters to you. Until then, happy investing.